Hey, this is Tony Cook, and I am here today with one of the guys doing some of the neatest stuff in the hobby, East Coast Circuits, ECC. You may have seen their ads in some of the White River magazines that I do. Neal Muntz is my guest. He is Mr. East Coast Circuits. And Neal, I've got this signal thing running right now. This is what had me interested. Welcome. How you doing today? You just got finished with Amherst. How was that?
Amherst was a great show. It happened to be our best show ever. I mean, the crowds were great. Even the second day when everybody was afraid of the snow, but many people they don't realize those towns up there, they're prepared for it. It
Oh
was
yeah.
it was great. We had our best show ever. We did more business in that one day than we normally do on a 2-day show up there.
Wow, I heard from John Sacerdoti, and yeah, I think he said 2024 was another
Yeah,
record with I mean, it's
absolutely.
just I love that. It's just such a great show. I haven't been in years. I gotta get back out there. So, tell me what we're looking at here. This, I assume, is one of your little green circuit board boxes that controls signals. Tell me, what are we looking at and what does it do? And I'm sure I'd never be able to figure it out, so I'm just gonna ruin it for you. Tell you can say, "Now, this is not for me, that I'm not smart enough to do it," right?
Well, the signals we make, they're 3D printed components with some metal tubing in there for support. It's all made and assembled in the USA.
Oh,
What you're seeing here is the signals in action. We don't make circuits for them. We recommend people that if looking for circuits, for their layout, we recommend our friends over at Azatrax.
okay.
Uh, they have the blocking systems for layouts. Uh, but what you're looking at here is the signal on the left is your basic single head 3 aspect signal with your clear, approach, and stop. In the middle there on the bottom, that's just a left-handed dwarf signal
Little dwarf, yeah.
which the railroads use, and you've got 3 aspects there as well. To the right is the dual head signal, and you've got numerous aspects depending on what railroad you're running, what signals you want. I mean, basically, you can have your stop and approach. You can have definite stop. There's many different types of signal aspects that you can add onto the dual head signal.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, they're pretty cool, and the response has been really nice to it. We're just getting them out there now. We showed them down at the National Train Show in Dallas, and surprisingly, we had a couple people from the Pennsylvania Railroad Historical Society come over. One guy bought a bought a bunch of them, and then last week, one of the writers or editors of the Pennsylvania Railroad Historical Society reached out, and they're going to put it in their magazine as well because a lot of people are looking for these type of signals.
So they're HO scale? What scales
HO
are they made?
scale, HO scale, 3D printed with some other components in it. We assemble everything up in Rhode Island. The guys up there, uh, they do wonders. Basically, I'm not the brains behind this. I'm strictly the front guy for East Coast Circuits. I'm the guy that does all the interviews, talks to the customers at the shows, works with our vendors and our partners, and speaks to people like yourself.
They look great. Now, of course, we're looking at them, and I see all the aspects show, like, yield, but I assume, obviously, there's red, green, yellow.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, railroad world, and even the Penn Central, they call it, stop, approach, and clear.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the latest, like the B&O signals, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong. I'm sure someone will reach out on your channel and correct me. But some of them have on the ends, for a stop would be 2 reds, no center bulb, and it would be 2 yellows for an approach, and then 2 greens for a clear. But right
Right.
now, because this is our first introduction into the signal market, these are the 3 that we're going with. If we get
Okay.
enough calls and demands, there could be more in the Pennsylvania Railroad series. I mean, there's just so many different variations that you can make. But right
Yeah.
now, these are the most popular ones.
Awesome. Do they come assembled, painted? Do you paint them once you get
The
them?
way the way you see them is the way they come right out of the
Oh,
box. They're
nice.
They've got resistors on them, so they're ready to go. They work on 9 to 12 volt DC only. They will not work on track power, regardless if it's DC track power or DCC. They need their own separate power.
Okay. And as attracts, I know those folks, you say that's a place to go, is one of the options for a signal setup. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to put a link in the description below for your East Coast Circuit site. If you haven't been, you got to go. I love the police cars. Whenever Neal sends me some product announcement, I'm like, that is so neat. Whether it's like construction stuff with little flashing, safety things, or like I said, the vehicles are mind-boggling. Some of the stuff he's done for those. So Neal, thanks so
Yeah.
much for your time today. Neal Muntz has been my guest from East Coast Circuits. This is their first HO-scale signal release. Take a look at them. If you're a Penn Central modeler, these look awesome. I love the little dwarf signal. I remember those growing up on the GM&O because we had B&O signals
Okay.
from the days when that railroad
Yeah.
was the Alton. And so,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
these all look familiar to me. So really
I mean,
awesome. Neat
I grew up on Long Island, and they had these out there as well,
all the time. Yeah. So
and they
great. But
still do.
that's amazing. So many signals anymore. I see everybody used to be able to, you could take a look at a right of way, and if you saw a signal, you could almost guess the railroad. And certainly here, Midwest and West, they're all changing to kind of those, hooded whatever that is like, well, I don't know what railroad I'm on anymore. I used to be able
Yeah.
to look at, oh yeah, that's Rio Grande or, whoever. But wow.
Yeah,
Well,
those are
thanks.
the hooded ones. Just so you know, those are the D-type signals,
Uh,
and they're down the road.
oh,
So
cool.
letting the cat out of the bag just a little bit. You know.
Well, they look fantastic. And as I say,
Thank
these
you.
are HO scale. They're printed, decorated, done. What you see is how you get them. East Coast Circuits, Neal Muntz, thanks for your time today. Link is below here to go to his website and find out more. I'm Tony Cook. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Tony.